Welcome to Hollywood, Alain.
Thank you, Bob. I'm delighted to be over here.
Recent legal disputes and personal scandals have cast a cloud over Alain Delon's illustrious career. Delon's life has been a mix of commercial success and public curiosity, starting with his ascent to fame in French cinema and continuing with his explorations into foreign films and subsequent economic endeavors. He has persevered through many difficulties, and it is disheartening to see his legacy being overshadowed by controversy now that he is elderly and in terrible health. But in the midst of it all, Alain Delon has acknowledged that she was the love of his life at the age of 88. To put everything in perspective, let's look at his life before taking that turn. Finding success in Hollywood. His American debut began with a minor role in MGM's 1965 all-star anthology, The Yellow Rolls-Royce, where he appeared alongside Shirley MacLaine. Although the film was popular, Delon's role was limited. Following this, his first lead in an English-language film came with Once a Thief, featuring Anne Margaret. This film, based on a novel by Zekiel Marco, did not match the success of his previous works. He then signed a 3-picture deal with Columbia Pictures and starred in 1966's Lost Command, a high-budget action film about the French Foreign Legion, opposite Anthony Quinn and Claudia Cardinale. Delon also appeared in Texas Across the River, a Western alongside Dean Martin. His involvement in Is Paris Burning, directed by René Clément, saw him playing Jacques Chaban Delmas. Although the film was a massive success in France, it struggled at the US box office. Despite his continued stardom in France and Japan, Delon faced significant challenges in making a lasting impact in the US market. Upon returning to France after a series of Hollywood films, Alain Delon starred in 1967's The Last Adventure, a notable success in France that paired him with Lino Ventura. Despite its acclaim in Europe, the film did not gain traction in North America. Following this, he turned his attention to the stage, performing in Les Yeux Crevés, and collaborated with Jean-Pierre Melville on the iconic Le Samouraï, which solidified his status as a classic French cinema figure. His role as an amnesiac in Julien Duvivier's Diabolically Yours in 1968 further showcased his versatility. Later the same year, his segment in the all-star anthology Spirits of the Dead, directed by Louis Malle and co-starring Brigitte Bardot, was well received, as was his English-language venture The Girl on a Motorcycle with Marianne Faithfull, which unexpectedly succeeded in Britain. However, his most significant French success of this period was 1968's Farewell Friend. Life of stardom, marred by controversies. For starters, on July 5, 2023, Alain Delon's 3 children lodged a complaint against Hiromi Rollin, a woman identified as Delon's companion. The allegations against Rollin included psychological harassment, interception of correspondence, animal cruelty, voluntary violence, unlawful confinement, and abuse of weakness. According to Anthony Delon, his father had requested in writing for Rollin to vacate the residence in Douchy-Montcorbon. Rollin's lawyer, Yassine Bouzrou, denied all allegations and announced plans to file a counter-complaint against Delon's family members and bodyguards for aggravated voluntary violence. Hiromi Rollin herself claimed that she was not Delon's companion, but had had a long-term intimate relationship with him, though she had also stated a relationship lasting 33 years in another interview. Both complaints, those by the Delon children and Rollin's counter-complaint, were dismissed due to insufficient evidence. Following this, on January 4, 2024, Alain Delon filed a complaint against his son Anthony following an interview Anthony gave to Paris Match, during which he discussed his father's declining health and accused his half-sister Anuchka of manipulating their father concerning inheritance matters. Anthony also reported that his father, weakened by a severe stroke in 2019, was deeply distressed by his diminished state. Subsequently, Anthony filed a police report against Anuchka for allegedly failing to inform the family about the negative results of cognitive tests conducted between 2019 and 2022. Anuchka, in turn, accused her brothers of jeopardizing their father's well-being and claimed she had sought to relocate him to Switzerland for continued treatment. She announced plans to sue Anthony for defamation, false accusations, threats, and harassment. Alain Delon's lawyer noted that Delon could not tolerate his son's aggression and persistent claims of senility. On March 29, 2024, Anushka sued her brothers for invasion of privacy following the January 2024 broadcast of a private conversation between her and her father on Instagram. Meanwhile, Delon was placed under reinforced guardianship in April 2024 by a judicial decision, following a hearing at the Montargis court. This guardianship grants the appointed curator authority over Delon's financial matters. Rise to fame. Delon's path took a significant turn when he discovered the vibrant Saint-Germain-des-Prés district, a hub of Parisian culture. It was here, at the Club Saint-Germain, that he met Brigitte Aubert, an actress known for her role in Alfred Hitchcock's To Catch a Thief. They moved in together on Rue du Pré-aux-Clercs in Paris's 7th arrondissement. This effectively distanced him from his previous underworld associations and marked the beginning of a transformative period in his career. During the 1957 Cannes Film Festival, Delon accompanied Aubert to the Côte d'Azur and took up residence in her property in Saint-Paul-de-Vence. The festival proved pivotal as it introduced him to influential figures such as Jean-Claude Brialy and his future agent, Georges Baume. It was also at Cannes that Henry Wilson, scouting for David O. Selznick, noticed Delon and offered him a screen test in Rome. This was his first real foray into the film industry without formal acting training. At the Cinecittà Studios, Delon underwent successful screen tests for Charles Vidor's A Farewell to Arms. Selznick offered him a 7-year contract in the US, but he had to learn English. Upon returning to France, Delon started his English lessons, but was soon persuaded by actress Michel Cordoue to pursue acting in France. Cordoux's husband, director Yves Allégret, cast Delon in a small role in Quand la femme s'en mêle, where Delon was simply himself rather than performing. Delon continued to build his career with a role in Marc Allégret's comedy Sois belle et tais-toi. During the production, he borrowed a Renault 4CV from Pascal Jardin, the director's second assistant. Despite warnings, Delon's joyride ended in a dramatic accident in the Saint-Cloud tunnel, where the car rolled over 5 times. Although the vehicle was destroyed, Delon emerged unharmed, albeit with a distinctive scar under his chin. This would become a defining feature of his iconic image. In 1958, Alain Delon was cast alongside Romy Schneider in Christine, a film directed by Pierre-Gaspard Huit. Schneider, who had recently gained international fame from the Sissy trilogy, chose Delon as her leading man. Their first encounter was notably awkward. As Romy arrived at Orly Airport on April 10, 1958, the two actors faced a language barrier. Romy spoke no French, and Delon was not fluent in German. Their initial impressions were less than favorable, with Romy finding Delon unimpressive and in poor taste, while Delon was taken aback by Romy's apparent distress. Despite this rocky start, as filming progressed, their relationship evolved from contentious to romantic. They soon became a celebrated couple, often referred to as the fiancés of Europe. They announced their engagement in a glamorous ceremony organized by Romy's mother and stepfather in Morcote, Switzerland, by Lake Lugano. Controversies are nothing new for Delon, though. Decades earlier, on October 1, 1968, the body of Stevan Markovitch, Alain Delon's former bodyguard, was discovered in a public dump in Elancourt, Yvelines, on the western outskirts of Paris. The investigation into Markovitch's death implicated Delon and Corsican gangster François Marcantoni. This suspicion was partly due to a letter Markovitch had sent to his brother, stating that if he were killed, Delon and Marcantoni would be responsible. The investigation also extended to former French Prime Minister Georges Pompidou. Rumors circulated that the case involved compromising photos of Pompidou's wife, leading to accusations that Pompidou was being set up by his political rivals using the French espionage service. As president, Pompidou appointed Alexandre de Marenche to reform the spy agency, partly in response to these events. Marenches, assisted by Michel Roussin, expelled a secret agent involved in the investigation. The investigation resulted in extensive media coverage and significant public attention. However, there was insufficient evidence to formally charge them with any crime related to Markovitch's death. Marenches executed a thorough cleanup of the agency, including the expulsion of a secret agent involved in the investigation to restore integrity and mitigate the political fallout from the affair. Despite these efforts, the case remained unresolved. To this day, the true circumstances surrounding Markovich's death are not known. In addition to the Markovich affair, Delon faced other legal issues. In 1969, he was convicted in absentia by an Italian court and sentenced to 4 months in jail for assaulting an Italian photographer. More recently, on February 26, 2024, a police raid on Delon's home led to the seizure of 72 firearms and 3,000 rounds of ammunition. Back in 1970, Delon purchased and subsequently returned to the French government a copy of Charles de Gaulle's 1940 speech encouraging resistance against the Germans. Delon acquired the manuscript through a friend for 300,000 francs and returned it to the government. Besides controversies, Delon is also suffering from poor health. In June 2019, he suffered a stroke, leading to hospitalization due to dizziness and headaches. By August, he was recuperating in a Swiss hospital. In September 2022, Delon began experimental treatment for a slow-progressing lymphoma, but by the summer of 2023, his children halted the treatment as it was further weakening him. By January 2024, Delon was in declining health and living reclusively at his La Brûlerie estate in Douchy. To this day, Alain Delon remains a cinematic icon whose career has been marked by both acclaim and controversy, illustrating that fame often comes with complex personal and public challenges. Well, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Did you like this video? If you did, please consider liking, dropping a comment, and hitting the subscribe button so that you don't miss out on our new uploads. Also, don't miss this video you see on your screen right now. It's truly unbelievable.